as Colonel Whitson pointed out, you go to the meetings and you see they talk about data up there, but we don't really know the rest of the story because we're not given access to it. From what I understand, they're studying the 242 whatever and every foot below it, but all we know is what we've seen on a few PowerPoint displays. A lot of the water world is done in the shadows, as we've kind of described. Like the letter from Mike Russell to TWDB, the board members didn't even know that he sent it. I mean, they were arguing about how to approve that kind of thing. They even talked about approving it over email.
I am so glad that Texarkana, Texas has done what they've done as far as the water rights and the $28 million and assuring that they're going to go forward and try to get the future water that's coming into Wright-Patman. That is really critical for this region as a whole. As you know, Region C and D have been in conflict for many, many years. And this past mediation process that we went through is very different than the one we had before. Before, it was like the line was drawn in the sand, no one was given, and it was just, it's going to be this way or it's going to be that way, and nothing happened. So we ended up having to go to the Texas Water Development Board. This time, the atmosphere was totally different. The first thing we did is number one was Region C will move the Marvin Nichols Reservoir as a designated strategy to the year 2070 in its 2016 regional water plan. The reason that is critical is that it gives us time to start doing some peer review studies over this stuff, and this is going to cost, quite a bit of money. And the second thing is that Region C will support Region D's effort to obtain Texas Water Development Board funding to study alternative water strategies to Marvin Nichols for the process of the fifth cycle of regional water planning for Region C and D, resulting in the development of the 2021 Regional Water Plan. The third, Region C will adopt a resolution to recommend that water supplies in Region C not submit any water rights application for new reservoirs that would be located in Region D through the end of the fifth cycle of regional water planning. And four, Region D agrees they will not challenge Marvin Nichols reservoirs and unique reservoir site through the end of the fifth cycle of regional water planning. The number two item was critical in that it will help do the peer review of the studies that Freese Nichols Region C are doing. Because one of the problems that we have is we don't trust the studies, a lot of the studies that they're doing, and so we can get independent review of them.
When the board president says that the documents are not public record because they haven't approved them yet, is a great misinterpretation of the public records laws.
You just kind of have to attend an SRBA meeting. It's really hard to put into words. But we continue to attend those meetings, and it's been a concern of mine for a number of years. I don't think that, I haven't seen anything thus far that gives me any level of confidence in what they're doing, or that they're acting in Texarkana or Riverbend's or this region's best interest.
Correct me if I'm wrong, they are not allowing us access to look at their basin studies, and is that tied back into the statement that I've heard in the community that we have not paid for those studies, so we are not going to be allowed to look at these studies?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know how to interpret that comment.
Right.
I found that kind of jaw-dropping but I think it speaks volumes. It should speak volumes to the city of Texarkana, Texas, and this region about maybe what the intent of SRBA is. And I guess you ask yourself why. Why would you not want as much involvement from your regional stakeholders? Why would you not? And so that begs that larger question. But I think it's important that we communicate to you, the city of Texarkana, the water rights holder in Wright-Patman. We continue to sit in these meetings and hear information from Freese Nichols, which is one of the contracting engineering firms that doing the study. The information reported at the studies is not consistent with what we've been told by the Corps. There's no genuine participation. there's no genuine, we're going to sit down at the table and talk through this and look at, it's window dressing. I could not stand up here and tell the city of Texarkana in good conscience to have any faith in this study.
Dr. And Andrea and Liz and Steve can speak to the matter of some of the absurd levels that SRBA has commissioned studies for.
That's correct.
That call to question the methodology that's being used. Why ask for lake levels that can flood areas around the lake or flood cities for that matter? It does not make much sense.
Region D we want to know more about our basin. We know that there are a tremendous amount of issues. There's water quality issues. There's siltation issues. There's all kinds of things that genuinely need to be studied. And I'm hopeful that, one of the key elements of the mediation agreement between C and D is that hopefully Region D will obtain some funding